Hello, we are talking about doing integrals using data. All right, so we're going back to our tables here. Now, again, they give me an initial condition. So they say the tank contained 150 gallons of water at time zero. Okay, so first thing they want me to do is use a midpoint Riemann sum with 3 subintervals to estimate the amount of water I have. All right, so I see that if I split this up into 3 intervals, I have a midpoint for each interval. I'm going to use 4, I'm going to use 12, and I'm going to use 20, kind of every other one. Okay, so the amount of water that I have would be 150 plus the integral from 0 to 24 of whatever my rate is, right? But I don't have that function. I can't take this integral, so I can approximate it by using a Riemann sum. So 150 plus, and first they want me to do a midpoint, so my delta x is still 8, but I'm using the y value for my midpoint, so 8.8. My delta x is again 8, and then 9.2, 8, and then 8.1. Right, so add all that up, we get 358.8 gallons of water. Right, now you can just look at the table to figure out your delta x. Another way of figuring that out is if they're all the same. So if your delta x is constant, then you do your b minus a over n. Right, so b was 8, a was 0, so those are my bounds. N is the number of intervals that I want, and in this case, n was 3. Okay, I wanted 3 subintervals, and so I end up getting that delta x is 8. Now this only works if your subintervals are constant, but most of the time they will be. Alright, next they want me to do a trapezoid sum. Alright, so pretty straightforward. I know that the area of a trapezoid is height times the average of my bases. Alright, so again, I start with my 150. Okay, now the height of each of these is going to be 8. Alright, I know that. You know what? I can actually just bring that up to the front, so I don't have to write it every time. So I'm going to put this 8 here. That's the height of each of my trapezoids. I'm going to average my bases. So in the first interval, I'm using 8 to 9.3. So I average those. Those are my bases. My next trapezoid averages 9.3 and 8.9. Right, and then my next trapezoid averages 8.9 and 6.7. And there's no reason why I switched it there. I don't know why I did that. Okay, so again, this 8 is my height, so 8 is going to be the height for each of these trapezoids. I just average my bases, and so we end up getting 354.4 gallons of water. Pretty close to my Riemann sum, actually. Okay, now this is very common. Now in part C, they give me an actual function. Okay, it's a very common thing to do. They want me to use this to find the exact amount of gallons I have. So I know that the amount of water I have is going to be 150 plus the integral from 0 to 24 of my water. Okay, so I can plug this in my calculator. You could do this one by hand, or you could plug it into your calculator, but either way, you end up getting 357.36 gallons. All right, and then lastly, they want me to find the average. And so again, we just do that 1 over b minus a thing. So I have 1 over 24 minus 0. Integral from 1 to 24, again, of the amount of water in my rate. And so I end up getting 8.64 gallons per hour. So this is the average amount of water flow that I have per hour. Okay, that's what I just found. All right, that's it for this. See you later.